Hello everybody, this is Alex from Swoosh English. Great to have you in our OET class today. I know you've all got your examinations next week, so I want this class to be as beneficial as possible for you. Please let us know who is here today. Wow, we've got a lot of people inside the class. I'd love to know who we've got in today. We've got Baha. We have, please introduce yourself in the chat box. So when you hover your mouse over the screen, you'll be able to see that there's a chat box function at the bottom of the screen with a speech bubble. Okay, we've got Hamza who's here today. We've got Manish. Good to see you. Please let us know if you're a doctor or a nurse. We've got Dr. Alinda. Oh, Alinda's one of our VIP students. Good to see you, Alinda. Bijimal said hi, and she is a nurse. We've got Humara, who's one of our VIP students. Anika is a doctor. Hamza, Gomar, fantastic. We've got lots of doctors here today. Where are all the nurses? Uzma, Jaffrey. I'm good, thanks, Uzma. How are you? Fantastic. Athira, we've got lots and lots of people here today. Doctor from Cyprus. Oh, no, sorry, Cyrus, rather, not from Cyprus. Okay, Smitha is a nurse. Great. Okay, so we've got lots of very hungry students, a lot of committed students who've got their exam next week. Let us know if you've got your exam in September or October, or if you've got it a different month. I'm guessing most of you have your examination next week. Let me know how you're feeling about it. Jungi said October. Hamza, September. Linda, good to see you, Linda. Again, September. Uzma, September. Alinda, September. Fantastic. So we've got a lot of people. Manish, November. Anika, October. Okay, great. Wow, lots of answers coming through now. Okay, so today we are going to be presenting an OET writing class. So in probably about 5 minutes or so, I will introduce Fiona, who will be coming into the session, and she will be working with me to give you all the guidance that you need when it comes to your upcoming OET writing examination. Please let us know which area is the most difficult for you. Is it reading? Is it writing? Is it listening? Or is it speaking? Let us know. We've got Rizwan, who's from Saudi Arabia. Good to see you. So October, said Rizwan. But yes, let us know which is the most difficult area. Anika said writing. Tara's one of our VIP students, said reading. Listening, Smitha. Hassan, writing. Listening so far, Hamza. Reading, the new reading 2.0, listening part C. Wow, lots of varied responses. Listening and reading, speaking and writing, said Midun. Good to see Midun. Fast for writing. Generally, we find that the majority say writing. However, with 2.0, what I'm noticing is more difficulties with reading and listening than what was experienced previously. I think that's just because it's a brand new examination. I don't think it's necessarily harder or easier than the previous OET 2.0 OET examination, but it represents new challenges. It represents you getting more accustomed to the new format. It just takes more practice. So for the fact that all of the new materials that have been presented on the OET website, etc., and our video courses, if you're one of our VIP students watching, they're all brand new. And I hope you'll learn a lot from them. But yes, you've not had a huge amount of time to acclimatize yourself to the new format, etc. So it will take a bit of time for you to familiarize yourself. Okay, we've got writing, says Alora. Kokila is a nurse. Melody said listening part C and reading part C. Okay, okay, fantastic. So hopefully we can help you to feel a bit more confident about OET 2.0 today. And like I said, very soon I'm going to be bringing Fiona into the class. We have got people on Facebook watching as well, so great to see everybody who is watching on Facebook. We've actually got so many people in the class today that we will be at capacity very soon, because we can only have 100 people maximum inside this session. We've already got a lot of people here, so great to see so many people who are dedicated to getting the grade A or B that they are looking for. Okay, doctors are looking for 4 Bs and nurses are looking for 4 Bs as well in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So if you can tell me now, the last question I'm going to ask you is why, and this is the big question, why is it difficult for you? What aspect of the reading, the listening, the speaking, or the writing is so difficult for you? Today, like I said, we are focusing on the writing because that's where we find that most people are having incredible challenges, and a lot of cases it's because they don't have a teacher, they don't have a native English speaking OET teacher to help them, to give them those corrections and feedback, etc., that they need. Mahmoud said writing grammar. Okay, why? So why in particular you find it hard? Okay, so listening, Bahar said it's hard to read and listen at the same time. Multiple choice questions are very confusing. Yes, Tara, because they can be quite similar. The meaning can be quite similar, and they have what they call distractors. They make you think it's B when actually it's C, just because B was mentioned in the text or in the audio. Hamza, listening's part secret's hard to follow the reader. Zainab, grammar in writing. Okay, fantastic. So, and the other thing I want to find out is who participated in our free 5-day OET writing challenge this week. Please let me know in the chat box. Was it helpful? Was it beneficial for you? Because we wanted to provide a strong, really close community of doctors and nurses who were helping and supporting one another. And I've seen some incredible things happening in that group. For example, someone posts their letter and immediately an hour later, 27 replies. All these amazing people who are giving help to other people, providing support to other people. It's been very, very inspirational for me to see so many people jumping into that group and helping other people, because remember, the more you help other people, the more you are going to help your own performance, because you will start to think like an examiner. You'll be able to analyze what examiners are looking for. Okay, we've given you a lot of video lessons. You can see what the teachers are telling you, what our UK OET teachers are telling you, and then if you're able then to pick out where people are going wrong in their writing based on the feedback, based on the video lessons that we're giving you, then you can really help improve someone else's performance and help your own at the same time. And we all know at the end of the day, the person you care about most in this exam, of course, is yourself, because you've put the hard work in, you're looking to secure that job offer in the UK or Australia, you want to come here to the UK, in maybe London or Manchester or Liverpool, one of the other cities, you want to come here as soon as possible, move here with your family and have a better life, etc. So that is really, really important. Kokila, more confused about the grammar, handwriting, says Rizwan, they only give you 2 pages. Okay, keep them coming. I'm going to see if we have Fiona inside the session. We do. Please let me know. I'm now going to bring Fiona into the class. Please let me know who is ready for today's OET writing class. Say ready in the chat box so I know that you've got your pens and your pieces of paper ready. Fastfa's ready, Tara. Ready. Fantastic. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to bring Fiona in now and really pay attention to everything she's saying. Make notes. Please make notes. I don't want people to just come to these sessions and they're just watching, reading what we're putting on screen, and you're not really, there's no outlet for that information. So you need to, once you write things down, you start to internalize it more in your mind. Even you can contact your study partner after this class and tell them what you learned. And this again will be another way for you to internalize it in your mind. So I'm going to bring Fiona into the class right now. And if you are watching on Facebook Live, make sure you share this video today. I'll be looking at some questions that we get on Facebook Live. But if you share today's questions, share today's video on your Facebook page, then we will give you one of our free OET resources. So you will get that immediately to your inbox after that's step 1, to share it. And then step 2 is right underneath the video, I have shared the OET live class video. So I have shared the OET live class video. So Fiona, I believe, is here. How are you, Fiona? Let me unmute you.
I have. Okay. I've done it. Yes. Okay. Hi,
Fiona. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Great to have you in here, Fiona, for the OET writing class. The big examination is next week. How do you think students are prepared for that?
Well, if they've been coming to our classes, then hopefully they're well prepared. Yeah, I hope that everyone is as well prepared as they can be. It's a big day and a lot riding on it. So yes.
Fantastic. We've got a lot of some of your students are in here today. People like Tara, a few other people, Alinda, and all these other people. So great to have so many VIP Swoosh students here today. So I am going to pass over to Fiona, who's going to begin teaching you all the OET writing.
Okay, great. Hello, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen. 1 second. Okay, so great to have you all here. And 1 second. Sorry, just a few technical problems here. Okay, and hopefully we're going to do a slideshow. Yes, perfect. Okay, so here we all are. I gather there are doctors and nurses in the group, so that is good. And hopefully we are going to help you with your writing today. So let's see what we can do with that. We're going to talk about diabetes, or we're going to look at a text that is related to diabetes. But first of all, what is it? Can anyone, are people able to speak in this? Sorry, I don't know if it's, if people are just using the chat box, Alex, or...
No, Fiona, we've got too many people.
Right, okay, yeah, no problem. So perhaps you could have a think about what diabetes is. There are 2 types. What's the difference between type 1 and type 2? Actually, I won't ask you to put your messages in the chat box because that will just take too long. I'm going to kind of assume that everybody knows more or less what diabetes is. I'm pretty sure you've got a better idea than I have, much better medical explanation anyway than I do. We're going to read an article about diabetes. So first of all, and we're going to look at some grammar that's kind of related to that article, but first of all, I'd just like you to read through what it says and then we'll look at the grammar. Okay, so read through it and decide if any of it is strange or surprising to you. Does it contain any information you didn't think about, for example? So let's just... Okay, first of all, please ignore the numbers on the left and please ignore the words in bold. So just read through it. And yeah, find out what type 1 and type 2 are, and I'm sure find out that you are right in what you thought, what you think diabetes is. Okay, we've got a few messages coming in here. Oh, yeah. Grace said it's uncontrolled blood sugar in the body. Yes, exactly. So, yes, I'm sure that this explanation is something that everybody knows, but I just wanted you to familiarize yourselves with the text. And we're going to look at something today that a lot of students have trouble with, and that you might have guessed is articles. So when we use a, an, and the, and when we use no article in English. So a lot of people have problems with that. And when you write the letter in OET, you need to be aware of when to use articles because that will affect your score in grammar. Okay, so we're going to do a little exercise and I'm going to ask you to do that exercise using the old-fashioned method of a pen and paper or pencil and paper. And here is the exercise. Okay, so I'll talk you through the first part. Look at the words in bold in the text and find examples of, and so these are basically the rules of when you use articles, okay? So a or an, when something is mentioned for the first time. So you can see here we've got a condition, the body, overweight people. So we can see here that it's going to be a condition. And the reason we say a condition and not the condition is because condition is a countable noun, so we can have a singular and a plural. And this is the first time that we mention the word condition, okay? If we mention it later on, we would probably use the, okay? But an example of this, when we mention something for the first time in the text, is a condition, line 1, okay? So let me just, so I will just write that here, condition, line 1, okay. Okay. So that's what you need to do for each of these. Yes, you need to write down on your piece of paper what the example and which line this can be found in. And then I'm going to ask people to comment in the chat box, but not now, later. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do this yourself. And I do recommend that you do it before we look later at the answers and the reasons why. Okay. And if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, please message me in the chat box, but hopefully you do. Oh, sorry, I just showed you the answers by mistake.
Hi Fiona, I'm not sure if you've seen. Are you seeing the messages coming through on the chat box?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah, okay, good.
I was
We've got
just
quite a
giving
few
people
people.
time to, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, we'll go through it
Yeah,
then.
we
That's
don't
sort
have.
of how I was going to do it. But
Yeah,
okay,
that's fine. That's
yeah.
fine.
So okay, shall we go through the answers now then? Yeah. Okay. I guess let's have a look. So we've got some messages coming through on the chat box. We have, for example, Rita says, the classic diabetes. I'm not sure which line you were referring to. Okay. So you said the diabetes, the classic diabetes symptoms, I think you meant. Yes, okay. So the, for something that has been mentioned earlier in the text, so we've got the level of blood sugar produces the classic diabetes symptoms of needing to urinate very often. So that's why we have the, because it's referring forward to needing to urinate. So those particular diabetes symptoms. So yeah, that wouldn't be an example of the, for something that's been mentioned earlier. Can anyone else? Here we have, for example, the insulin, okay, because we have insulin that was mentioned earlier. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the answers here. That's probably the best thing. So we've got some really good ideas. Narak says the body, line 3. You see, I'm not sure what people are referring to, but I'm going to go, well done. Everyone looks as if they've got some good ideas. We're going to have a quick look through it now. So for example, for something that has been mentioned earlier in the text, the condition, line 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the condition is linked to obesity. So we have already mentioned this condition, and that's why we have the here. Okay, so we've already talked about it. When we talk about something for the second time, we know what we're referring to, and we use the. Here we say the to talk about something specific. We know which one. So the body, line 1. We know which body. We know it's the patient's body. The insulin that is made, line 4. So the insulin that is made. So here we're talking about insulin in general. It's and we're introducing the concept of insulin. It's uncountable. Disease names and hormone names and things like that often are uncountable, so we don't have a. And here we have the, because we've already mentioned it earlier in the text. Okay. The to talk about something that is unique. The sun is shining. There is only one sun. Okay. We have here 0 article with a plural noun to talk about things or people in general. So patients. Line 6, patients with type 1 diabetes. Not the patients, because we're not talking about a specific group of patients, yes, at the moment. Overweight people, so overweight people in general. And then here, 0 article with an uncountable noun to talk about something in general. So we have, for example, insulin, which is line 2. We don't have an article here. Glucose, also talking about a concept in general which is uncountable, so we don't have an article. Diet and exercise also, so we're talking generally here. And 0 article with the name of a condition or disease, as I mentioned earlier, diabetes. Yeah, so we generally don't have an article for that. Okay, so do we have any questions about that? Maybe you could put them in the chat box. We're going to do some practice of that in a letter of referral. So we're going to have a look at a letter, and you're going to see where we should put the articles into the letter. Okay? Any questions so far? Anything not clear? Okay, so silence is golden, I guess. We're going to move on then to the next screen. Okay, so this is part of a letter that you would write if you were doing the OET writing exam. It's a letter, it's addressed to a doctor, okay, but you will see that some of the articles are missing. And what I would like you to do is to put the articles back into the text. Think about where you would put which article, okay? And please don't write anything in the chat box for this, because you know, we're not going to know which part it's for. So just jot down your answers on a piece of paper, and then I will show you the correct answers, and I'll explain any questions you might have.
Thanks, Fiona. I will read out if we've got any questions on Facebook Live as well. But this is great practice for everybody who's in the class today. So please take advantage of this opportunity and yeah, definitely get involved in the exercise. Alvin said, where can we get the answer? Don't worry, Alvin, we'll be revealing the answer to you very, very soon. So let's just, we just want you to complete the exercise first. If we gave you the answer immediately, you wouldn't learn anything. So we want you to take part in this exercise, and then we will reveal the answer very, very soon. But as Fiona said, it would be difficult if you're just writing all of your answers in the chat box, because there's so many gaps in there. What we would suggest for you to do is to, as Fiona said, to put your answers on a piece of paper, and then we will reveal the answers very, very soon. Let's see if we've got any messages coming through on Facebook. Okay, let's see. None that I can see so far.
Oh, we've got something here on the Zoom chat from May Winton, and this person has put all their answers in here, so that's good. But you didn't need to, so you've just yeah, it's totally fine. So if you haven't actually, if you've just jotted your answers down on a piece of paper, you're going to see the answers in a minute on the next screen, and then you're going to be able to compare your answers with the actual answers, okay, and see how well you did. Okay, so I think we'll do that right now, because people have had a pretty good go at this.
Sure.
Okay, so here is the letter, and I'd like you to have a read through it. So just read it for a couple of minutes, and and then think about how, whether you were right or wrong, and whether you have any questions about any of the articles. I'll take you through them too.
Whilst you're doing that, I want to mention how important it is. If you have a laptop or PC, you will be able to read the screen much better than if you're on a mobile phone. If you're on a mobile phone, then it's difficult, okay? But there's unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. But that's why we always recommend you to try and go through our lessons on a laptop or PC if you can. Or you could put instead of having your phone this way, you can have it landscape view instead, okay, and you'll be able to read it a bit better on the landscape view. I can see it perfectly fine actually on my phone, so hopefully it's readable for you. And I also want to remind people as well on Facebook Live, if you share today's video to your Facebook page, then and then after that you write underneath, I have shared the OET live class video, then we will give you one of our free OET resources. It will go immediately to your messenger. So make sure you do that.
Okay, so I guess everyone has had a chance to look at the correct answers and to compare them with your own, and hopefully you understand where you've gone wrong. Nobody has asked any questions yet, so I'll just go over a couple of them. So here, for example, he was admitted due to a problem related to his pancreas. Okay, so this is the first time that we mention this problem. Hamza said, why do we say a need? And I'm just going to find where that is. Ah, yes. So here we have, in this paragraph here, the patient was well at the time of discharge from our hospital, apart from the problem related to pancreatitis. There is a need to take great care. So we're mentioning this need for the first time, and so that's why we say a need. While we're here, the patient, we know which patient. So you're never going to say a patient in a letter of referral. And here you say apart from the problem related to pancreatitis, because we mentioned the problem before. Here in this paragraph, the xiphoid process, because that's, we only have one in our body, so we know which one. Again, that's why we use the. Okay. Now, Narak has asked, has said, a burning sensation. Yes, and a lot of people ask about that. Why do we say just burning sensation? Because we've actually already said an intense pain and burning sensation. So because they're together and they're joined by and, we often miss the article in the second case. But you could actually say and a burning sensation if you wanted to. Do we have any more questions? Oh, later on, we say the burning sensation, because we've already mentioned it before. Okay, and also remember we said the names of diseases and illnesses are often uncountable. Diabetes, food poisoning are often, not always uncountable, but quite often they are, so they don't have an article in front of them. They don't have a, should I say. Sometimes they would have the, if we knew which one we were talking about. We have another question here in the chat box. Now Rania says, the night. Okay, so I'm not sure where she's referring to. Can't see the night. Which paragraph? Oh, here we are. Paragraph 2. So the patient was suffering from an intense pain and burning sensation at the xiphoid process. There was an increase in his pain and burning sensation during the night. Because usually you would know which night this was. It was the night, probably the night prior to the patient coming to visit the doctor. So during the night, or you can also use the night just as a general idea, the night meaning generally night times. So why is it the xiphoid process? Because, as I mentioned, we only have one. That is why. So parts of the body or things, organs inside the body, we often use the heart, the lungs, the liver, and the legs, the lungs. Yeah. Yes, and Binny said exactly, it's the only xiphoid process, so only one. Yes, and Divin said the skull, the eyes. Yes, yes. Remember we talked about the body in the previous screen. We know which body, the patient's body. Can I say, Hamza says, can I say a food? Okay, so generally food is uncountable. So we just say food. I ate some food last night, or I ate food, not I ate a food. So we wouldn't usually say a food, so just food. And if we knew which food, like the food I ate last night was not very good. If we know which food, then we would say the. Okay, and Hamza says now it's clear. So yes, it's important to learn nouns that are countable and uncountable, because uncountable nouns are never preceded by a, only the or no article at all. Do we have any other questions on the Zoom webinar? I can't see the ones on Facebook, so I'm not sure if people have questions there. But anyone else have any other questions? Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so we don't have that long left. Well, let's do a little bit of, we'll do a couple of these. Okay, so some of these sentences have mistakes with articles. Okay, so for example, number 1 says patient is having trouble breathing. So perhaps you know what the mistake is there and you can write it in the chat box. Can anyone tell me? It's not with you. You can just say to have trouble breathing. You don't have to say have trouble with breathing. Just say have trouble with, and then use ing. Okay, so Jezza is saying the patient. Nay Winton says trouble breathing. No, trouble is uncountable. So trouble, no article. So the patient is having trouble breathing. Lots of people are saying the patient, and a lot of people are saying with breathing. You have trouble with something, but often you don't need with. The patient is having trouble, and then the verb with ing. Okay, you could say I'm having trouble with plus a noun, so I'm having trouble with my car. I'm having trouble with this exercise, or with a noun. Yes. So see if you can do a couple more of those. So maybe numbers 2 and 3, something like that. Okay. Good. So on number 2, a lot of people are saying the pain. Somebody said, oh no. So the pain, but we actually also need on the second visit. We know which visit. With the first, the second, the third, we always have the definite article, the second, the first, because there is only one second and first. So on the second visit, or you could say on her second visit, or on his second visit. The pain, on her, because the pain she had been experiencing was much worse. Okay. Number 3, what's wrong with number 3? Oh, some people have said swollen ankles. You can never have with a plural. Okay. You have 2 ankles. Means just one. Okay. So she is suffering from swollen ankles is actually correct. Yeah. So she is suffering from swollen ankles would be right. Okay. And what about number 4? Anyone? The X-rays. So I can't pronounce your name, but somebody said, so Narak said the X-rays. The X-rays we took last week because we know which X-rays. Yeah? Very good. Okay. So just 1 second, please. I think, okay, I'm just going to find something here because I'm aware of the time. Okay, so we have here okay, so we have here, I don't know how many of you have seen case notes, a set of case notes before, probably a lot of you. So we have here, I know there are doctors and nurses in this class, so this is actually a set of case notes for a doctor, but they would be similar for nurses as well. So when you get the case notes in an OET writing, you have 5 minutes to read them. You don't have a pen, you can't write any notes. So the best thing you can do is to look at the writing task at the end of the case notes and find out who you're writing to. Here it's a psychiatrist. Okay, so you know that you need to find information in the case notes that is related to information a psychiatrist would need. So, for example, in this situation, seems well and happy, volunteers at her children's school, but then reports feeling tired, overweight. So this kind of information would be relevant to a psychiatrist, possibly not breast check, skin check, things like that would, and it's all sort of related to mood. So in those 5 minutes, you've got to look and decide which information is relevant for this person. And then what we've just been doing, looking at articles and when to use articles, well, that will help you to, to write the case notes in full sentences, okay? Because they're obviously in notes and articles are missed out. So that's important when you start to write your letter, that it's grammatically correct. And a lot of people have problems with articles. So let's have a look at, I've got lots of messages coming through here. Okay, so that's related to what we were doing before. Okay, so I think we'll just keep on with this one. Perhaps you could say what you might, so looking at this, what you might include in the first paragraph. What information might you include in the first paragraph for this, for these case notes if you were writing this letter? Yes, so Nay Winton has said reason for referring and the diagnosis. Yes, okay. So the diagnosis is, yes, it's a potential diagnosis, possible bipolar disorder, requires urgent treatment. So also the fact that it's urgent would need to be communicated in the first paragraph. And it's a referral letter. Yes, and Dibin has also said you've got to talk about the urgency. So that would need to be in the first paragraph as well. So what the situation is, why you're referring them, and the level of urgency, definitely in the first paragraph. Okay, so what information is usually included in the final paragraph? Yes, Any ideas about that? What information do we usually include in the final paragraph? The Galaxy says the plan. Jezza says the request and plan, request for next steps. Yeah, everyone's got the right idea, exactly. So what do you want the person to do on receiving this letter? So what I'm going to do is I'll show you a model answer. Just before we do that, let's just quickly go back to the first screen so you can remind yourself. So Mrs. Catherine Walter, and then this is history, asthma since childhood, family history of depression might be useful here, important to mention. And then we have the different dates, checkup, physical examination may not be quite so relevant to a psychiatrist. So while you're looking at the case notes, while you're preparing, you need to be thinking about what's relevant to this person. And then you can see the gradually deteriorating patient's condition of the patient, so mental condition, reports feeling of not coping and wanting to die, feels tired, etc. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the model letter. Okay, so this is part of the model answer. We don't have the address at the top because there wasn't so much room on the screen. So yeah, just have a look at the model letter and see what you think. I'm going to change the screen in a second. In fact, let's read this together. I'll read it out to you. Oops. So I'm writing to refer this 40-year-old married mother of two for urgent assessment and treatment for severe depression coupled with suicidal thoughts. She has a family history of depression. So here you notice we've got urgent assessment and treatment for severe depression. Mrs. Walter first attended my practice on 19/11/14 for a general health check. On this visit, she seemed relatively happy and physical examination results were within the normal range. Notice that we've got lots of physical examination results in the case notes, but in the letter we just really need to synthesize them into a very brief sentence. You don't have enough, and the psychiatrist doesn't need to know all that. However, given her high BMI, 28.4, she was advised on lifestyle changes for weight reduction. And that probably, that may well be linked to, her weight is linked to mental issues as well. Then we have 6 months later, so we're going through the chronology of visits. 6 months later, on 28/05/15, the patient returned to my clinic having joined a gym and lost 12 kilograms in weight. 82 to 69.9. She was in good spirits. Okay, so we've got another visit here. And then let's go to this screen. This morning, Mrs. Walter attended my clinic reporting suicidal thoughts. She struggles with housework and feels unable to care for her two children, 8 and 11. She's lost a further 19 kilograms in 2 months and her BMI is now 17.3. So we can see that she's lost a lot of weight. She's very, she's suicidal. Her current medication is budesonide, Pulmicort inhaler for asthma, and miconazole for her chronic fungal skin condition. I would value your assessment of this patient. So what needs to be done, right? And treatment of what appears to be severe depression, possibly bipolar disorder. I'll be contacting her husband to discuss childcare and household management. Please contact me if you need any further information. And then yours sincerely and doctor. So this is for doctors. The nurses ones are obviously slightly different, but the way you synthesize, organize, structure your letter is going to be relatively similar. So hopefully that's given you an idea of how to do it and how to structure a letter. Do we have any questions? Right, is Alex there? Perhaps he can see the questions on Facebook.
Yep, I will see what we've got coming through. Okay, so let's see what questions we have. So, is there any word limit, said Syed?
Yes, there is a word limit. It's 100.
Yeah, go for it, Fiona. Go for it. Yeah.
Well, it's 180 to 200 words is the limit. So you should try not to go too much over 200 words.
Yeah. And Omar said, how can I formulate the introduction and the conclusion in discharge letters for doctors?
So the introduction and conclusion, well, it would depend on the letter. But you wouldn't say, for example, I'm writing to refer. You would say that start with, this patient is being discharged today, for example, or but yeah, it would kind of depend on the letter. Discharge, you would also have a plan. So there would be a plan in the case notes, and that you would include at the end of the letter, presumably. Again, depending on what the situation was.
Okay, and common question that we get, what if we exceed 200 words? I mean, there's no rules really, Marianne, who's asked this on Facebook. There's no rules. The 180 to 200 words is just a guide. So of course, if you're writing 300 words, then you've probably included far too much information. So, but you should try and stick to the 180 to 200 word guide. But if you wrote 202 words, then you're not going to get penalized. Okay, Syed, any instructions regarding, or are there any tips regarding how to put together paragraphs? I think maybe in terms of, is there a set number of paragraphs, or how many ideas per paragraph, or I think that's what Syed is meaning.
Well, there's no set number of anything really, and the reason that you're writing this letter is so that OET can, assess your ability to communicate in English. So just learning, sort of rote learning it is not helpful, and you won't be able to transfer it from one letter to another. So there's no set number. There's no set number of paragraphs. If I wrote this letter, and if another native speaker wrote this letter, if Alex wrote this letter, we would have a different number of paragraphs. There's no kind of fixed, you must have 4 paragraphs or 5 paragraphs. Yeah, totally depends on
exactly
the situation.
Yeah, we're not, Fiona and I are not going to be correcting your sentences here. It's mainly just for questions. I saw a couple of people were asking us which is correct. Joseph said, is the patient's past medical history not relevant? Said Joseph.
Well, let's.
I mean, it depends on the question, depends on the kind of letter that you have. Yeah, exactly. I mean, with some kinds of questions, then absolutely, it's very, very important. And if you're referring,
yes, exactly.
Yeah, if you're referring someone to.
Well, look here.
Yeah, exactly.
Here,
sorry,
she has a family history of depression.
Speaking, yeah.
Is there? Sorry. Okay, yes.
Yeah, go on, carry on. Sorry.
Okay, so she has a family history of depression. That has been included here, and it is relevant. So depression, you're writing to a psychiatrist about somebody who may have bipolar disorder, then absolutely it's relevant. But, a family history of, bronchial disease or something like that might not be relevant in this situation. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So let's see. Any other questions coming through on the chat box? So we're not really correcting people's sentences. We're more answering people's questions today. I am going to be telling you about our paid program that's starting next week. So I'll give that a brief mention at the end. So if you do want us to correct your sentences, correct your letters, then we will do that on our paid program. Nawin, is there a penalty for including that your further assessment and management where is that? Is it compulsory that so the Vinay said, is it compulsory that the last paragraph is the final visit only? There's no there's no rules for most of the aspects of writing. So I think people get it into their heads that the OET examiners are here to take marks away from them, etc. Like we said before, there's no set formula, there's no set structure that you need to be following, and you must include this at this part, etc., etc. So just be careful with that kind of line of thinking. Is there a penalty for including that your further assessment and management will be highly appreciated? I'm not really sure what you mean there, Nawin.
I think she means, at the end of saying it at the end of the letter as well as the beginning. I'm not sure, because at the beginning we've already said for urgent assessment and treatment, so possibly she means that. I think it would be, overkill, to be honest. Well, let's see how they do it in the model. Well, actually, no, they have. I would value your assessment of this patient and treatment of what, now here they're saying what appears to be severe depression, possibly bipolar. So, it's wouldn't be a big deal. Possibly you could paraphrase it slightly, or but the main thing is that you need to, if it's urgent, you need to communicate that in the first paragraph. And I don't think there are penalties, as Alex was saying, they're not out to get you.
They're so there to give you marks where they're rewarded, where they feel that you deserve them. Exactly,
yes. And Louis, well, I've lost it now. Louis Roberto says, can I write, I am referring for a discharge letter? Probably not. Usually you'd say this patient is being discharged, because you're not actually referring them to anyone.
Last question. Okay. How to identify, Nerek said, how to identify case notes like the kinds of letter that we're going to make? I think is he asking about how to select the case notes for the particular kind of letter that you have? So whether it's a discharge letter, am I right? Whether it's a discharge letter or referral letter, for example, is it how can you identify the case notes? I mean, it depends on the task that you're provided. It depends on what's the purpose of the letter, who are you writing to, what kinds of information would they need. So it's really your ability to select what you think is deemed as relevant case notes for that particular task that you're provided. So it just really depends. You could have, you could have 10 different discharge letter questions, 10 different exams, all asking you to do a discharge letter, and you might have completely different kinds of information that you need to include, because it depends on the task that you're given. Like I said, it depends on who you're writing to, what the purpose is, etc., etc. So there's no hard and fast rule for this is the kind of case note information you must provide for discharge letters. This is the kind of case note information you must provide. Every letter is different, is basically what I'm saying. So keep your questions coming. Was the lesson so far today helpful to you all? Please let me know in the message box. And I want to say thank you so much to Fiona. Fiona will still be here for more questions and answers that you have. And Linda said thank you, helpful, thank you, fantastic. Fiona, any
right,
thoughts?
So I'm just looking at Mahmoud's message. He says, what if the task asked to refer the patient and he is being discharged on the same day? So yes, then you would say I'm writing to refer this person, and then you would explain that they were being discharged on the same day.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, Fiona. Like I said, Fiona will be sticking around for any questions that you have. So she will be here. So keep your questions coming. Okay, keep them coming in the chat box. I want to know what's been the main thing that you learned from today so far that you didn't know before the class. Okay, what's the main thing when it comes to OET writing that you didn't know before? please let me know in the chat box. Okay, so I would love to know that. So let's see what we've got. Use of articles, people saying very helpful. Okay, let's see on Facebook as well what people are saying, because if you come to these classes and then you don't actually remember what you learned, then it goes and you completely forget, and we don't want that. I want you to internalize this in your mind. I want you to be able to use it for your practice later on when it comes to, you know, when it comes to your practice, when it comes to your real exam, when it matters next week, because I know all of you've got if you've got your exam in September, October or November, this will all be really important for you to internalize this. So I want to know what you're learning. Correct use of articles. Use of articles, said Bini Elishbra on Facebook. Importance of articles, Syed. Yeah, very important. Grammar is definitely an important element of this OET writing examination. Using articles, correct articles is useful. Yes, I mean, I find a lot of people really don't know how to use articles correctly. Grammar is obviously, like I said, is very, very important. So this is really important. A lot of people are saying really helpful. Thank you so much for the class. You are very welcome. Now, I want to quickly mention, and I want to ask you all from this free class today, is it okay if I mention very briefly about a paid program that I'm very excited about that's starting next week? Let me know in the chat box if that's okay. I will briefly mention it to you because I know it would be of huge importance for so many students here today who want to get help from Fiona and our other UK OET teachers every single day, because we want to be giving you the feedback, the corrections, the help that you need in order to pass OET 2.0 first time. And that guidance from a teacher would be so helpful, because next week we're going to be doing a paid program that's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every single day is going to be really, really intensive. You're going to be working with our teachers. They're going to be marking your letters. They're going to be doing speaking mock exams. I'm going to be doing lots of speaking mock exams next week. So many people saying, yes, please tell me. Thank you very much. I will. Of course, you know, if you cannot afford the paid program, then no problem whatsoever. But for those students who want that extra support and they want a teacher, a UK OET teacher, to mark their letters, give them feedback, tell them what they need to do to improve, then I would love to help you. Because last month, when people who took the June exam, who got their results in July, we had a 65% pass rate of people passing first time. So who would love that? I would love for you to get involved and be part of our success in helping students, a huge amount of students pass first time. So we've got our OET 2.0 5-day challenge next week. It's going to be on reading, writing, listening and speaking, all 4 areas, because we know how important it is to get really a lot of guidance with 2.0. A lot of students are worried about 2.0. So we're going to have live classes every day next week with our OET teachers. Fiona is going to be the main teacher who taught you today. We've got our video courses for 2.0 completely updated for reading, writing, listening and speaking. We've got unlimited writing letter correction, so you can post your letters in the group and get feedback. It's not for everybody, okay? It's got to be for people who have either taken the OET examination before and they got a C or a C plus or above, or they got a band 6 or a 6.5 in IELTS. So if you qualify for that, then you can go ahead and I will give you the link in the chat box. So you must send me previous results, exam results by email, and let me know, are you doing your exam in September or October? So it's only for people who are doing their exam in September or October. So we've got 3 packages. The first package is a pre-recorded video course, and you get access to the classes that we did last month, and you get unlimited corrections on your writing, so you can post them in the group. We'll also give you a speaking mock exam group class as well next week. You'll learn a lot from that. That's over 5 days. Then we've got the live class package, so you'll get 1-hour class every single day. If you're a doctor, you'll do the doctor classes. If you're a nurse, you'll do the nurse classes. So every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we will have our live classes for you. Don't worry if you cannot come to every single class. we will give you the recordings as well. And even if you go to the live classes, you'll still be able to get the recordings too. And then you'll get the Facebook corrections. You'll also get our updated 2.0 OET self-study video courses, video lessons and exercises. We'll give you 2 speaking mock exam group classes and a bank of model answers that you can learn from previous doctors and nurses who have done writing. And then the last one is our premium package. It's got access to all of the live classes, all of the things I mentioned before, but it's also got our brand new model answer video course. So we've got video lessons all about the model answers, how you can provide grade A and grade B answers. We've got all the lesson recordings. You get 3 speaking mock exam group classes, and you also get 10 hours of pre-recorded OET writing group classes. So you'll also get the live classes that we're doing every single day. So we've got the 3 packages, either this package, the first package, the basic package, or the live class package, or the OET 2.0 everything challenge. So that is available to you. I'll post the link in the chat box if you're interested in that. I know I've got messages coming through asking about this, so I'll put that in the message box. So it's swooshenglish.com/OET-challenge. I will write it I'll write it in the chat box as well. We're getting so many questions coming through about OET. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time left in this session today, but if you join our paid program next week, you can ask as many questions as you like. Okay, and our teachers and I will be here to support you. So as many questions as you want. What I would say about these, so these are the 3 packages together. Okay, and what I would say about these packages are that, well, I should also say we've got some bonuses as well. So we're going to, for anyone who signs up today, okay, you will get our Saturday bonus speaking mock exam class. So that'll be tomorrow, 12 p.m. UK time. I'll be doing a speaking mock exam. So you might have the opportunity to do a speaking mock exam with me. We'll also give you an extra 5 hours of OET writing video course materials, lessons and exercises. So these are the bonuses if you sign up today with us. So this is how you can sign up. What I would say to everyone right now, okay, whether you're a doctor or a nurse, if I was a doctor or a nurse and I had to pay for the OET exam, which is quite expensive, I wouldn't want to take it 2 or 3 times. What I can assure you is we will be with you every step of the way. We'll be holding your hand through the whole journey. We care about every single doctor or nurse who joins our programs. If you're one of our current students, you can mention that in the chat box now. We will be with you, helping you with your writing, your speaking, your reading, your listening, answering all your questions, correcting all of your letters. And we just want as many of you to pass as possible, because there's nothing better that I like than receiving photographs of people who are in their hospital uniform in the UK. They're working as a qualified UK doctor or nurse, and this English exam, they passed it first time, and this gives us the most kind of appreciation, or for all the hard work that they did. It gives us a lot of satisfaction knowing that we helped them as well, and I'd love to be able to help you too. The problem that I see a lot of doctors and nurses doing is that they're taking the exam many times because they keep self-studying, and actually in the long run you'll be spending a lot more money on this exam. So if you take the exam 3 times, that's $1,500. Take our course first time, one of our 3 packages, you'll be saving around about $700 to $800 US if you compared to someone who took the exam 3 times. So take the course once, pass the exam once, you'll only be spending about $600 to $700 in total. So it's a lot cheaper than taking it 3 times by yourself. This is something for you to think about, but I would love for you to join us. It's an intensive 5 days that we've got next week. So are you ready? Let me know. I put the link in the chat box. If you've got any questions about the course whatsoever, I have a Q&A session very soon. So I will be answering any questions you've got about the challenge inside this group. If you've been part of our free OET 5-day challenge this week, you'll have seen that we've got some amazing support but those corrections were only from students. Next week you'll have our teachers. You'll have Fiona giving you corrections. You'll have me giving you corrections. You'll have Russell and Stephen, our other OET teachers, giving you corrections. So that is what's available to you. I hope today's session was helpful. Let me know if it helped you in the chat box, and I would love to see you being part of the class next week. And if you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. But from everyone on Facebook, thank you very much for being here today. I am just going to come off Facebook now, and if you've got any questions, then feel free to let me know. So thank you very much, everybody. Good luck with your exams next week, and I would love for you to